Welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Lipakshi. Let's begin with the headlines first. Purple Revolution revamping agriculture sector in Jammu and Kashmir. Locals in Gilgit-Baltistan hold demonstrations against corrupt authorities. And Nepali women recycle maize to create corn husk dolls. Let's begin the show with Sri Lanka, where the country is making progress towards its recovery and resurgence following its greatest financial crisis since achieving independence in 1948. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe believes that his country's economy is on the road to recovery. Inflation, which was hovering over 70% a few months ago, is almost 3 times lower. We have a report.
Thousands of protesting Sri Lankan students clashed with security forces on the streets of Colombo. The police used tear gas shells, water cannons, and baton-charged protesters who were demanding the release of student activists arrested for the earlier held anti-government protests, held to seek redressal of the high cost of living, among several other demands. The slashing of the health and education budgets under President Ranil Wickremesinghe's government directly impacted students, and they called for an increase in the monthly stipend. Sri Lanka, with the help of a $2.9 billion bailout from the IMF, is trying to recover from its worst financial crisis since gaining independence in 1948 and turn around its battered economy. The island nation defaulted on its foreign debt last April. The IMF said in April that it expected the Sri Lankan economy to contract by 3% in 2023, given the weak external environment and domestic policy tightening before registering a modest growth of 1.5% in 2024. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe believes that his country's economy is on the road to recovery.
වෙහෙසීමේ කැපවීමේ සහ ඉලක්කගත නිවැරදි ගමනක් යෑමේ ප්‍රතිඵල අද අප සෑම භුක්ති විඳිනවා. 70%ක් දක්වා ඉහළ නගා තිබුණු උද්දමනය දැන් 25.2ක් දක්වා පහළ වැටිලා. මේ නිසා ජීවන බර ක්‍රමක්‍රමයෙන් සැහැල්ලු වෙමින් පවතිනවා. මුළු මහත් සමාජයේටම මේ සහනය දැනෙන්න පටන් අරන් තියෙනවා.
The South Asian island republic plunged into crisis last year as its foreign exchange reserves ran out. Food and energy prices spiraled, and protesting mobs forced the ousting of the country's then president. Wickremesinghe took the reins in July and negotiated a bailout from the IMF in March. Inflation, which hit a record high of around 70% in September, is coming down. Government revenues are looking up, and the pressure on the country's balance of payments is easing. The government aims to complete talks to restructure its bilateral debt with other countries by September.
Well, in a bid to boost the productivity of the agricultural sector and bring off growth in farmers' income, the Indian government has been steadfast in employing ideas, innovation and the latest technology, and exploring avenues that can play an instrumental role in propelling India's agricultural potency. Join us as we explore how lavender cultivation is changing the lives of farmers in Jammu and Kashmir.
The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is well known for an array of medicinal plant species. Lavender notably exhibits great potential as a therapeutic and aromatic herb that can significantly add to the economy and agricultural prospects in the region. The state administration has been making endeavors to tap into the potential of lavender or purple gold as a means to provide farmers with a sustainable and indigenous crop-based agroeconomy that is expected to bring transformative changes in the conventional cropping patterns. Recently, a 2-day lavender festival was organized under 1 week 1 lab campaign, which was started by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in tandem with the Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine, Jammu, as a part of its flagship project called Aroma Mission.
एक्चुअली मुझे ये पता लगा कि मेघालय में ऑलरेडी उत्तराखंड के अलावा या कश्मीर के अलावा भी मेघालय में स्टार्ट किया गया है। तो और भी स्टेट से, जैसे अरुणाचल, जहाँ से मैंने पढ़ाई लिखाई की है, बॉर्न एंड ब्रॉट अप इन अरुणाचल बेसिकली, तो वहाँ पे भी ये स्टार्ट करने का वेंचर कैसे करना है, तो स्क्रैच से पता करने के लिए यहाँ पे उन्होंने इनवाइट किया ताकि मुझे आइडिया लगे वहाँ कैसे लेवेंडर फार्मिंग को हम कल्टिवेट कर सकते। बहुत अच्छा, यहाँ पे काफ़ी सारे जगहों से लोग आए हुए हैं।
The mission aims to exponentially increase the income of small and marginal farmers and develop agriculture-based startups through the promotion of lavender cultivation, better known as the Purple Revolution. Under Aroma Mission, the CSIR and IIIM introduced lavenders to farmers or budding entrepreneurs and provided app tools and resources, including an end-to-end technology package for the cultivation, processing, value addition and marketing of the lavender. The primary production commodity is lavender oil, which sells for approximately Rs 10,000 per litre. Other popular products include medicines, incense sticks, soaps and air fresheners.
साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी मंत्रालय CSIR का उनका विभाग IIIM जम्मू के सहयोग से टेक्नोलॉजी का भी सहयोग था, आर्थिक सहयोग भी था। धीरे धीरे छोटी सी जगह पर उसकी खेती शुरू की गई। जब वहाँ से आमदनी शुरू हुई तो लोग खुद ही जुड़ गए, अपने खेत भी दे दिए। हमारे DDC चेयरमैन साहब ने अपनी ज़मीन भी हमें दे दी, यानी इनको भी लगा कि चेयरमैनी के साथ साथ ये काम बहुत ज़रखेज़ है। तो कहने का मतलब ये कि आज की दुनिया में मेरा सदा से ये मानना रहा है कि स्टार्टअप की जब हम बात करते हैं तो स्टार्टअप को सस्टेन करने के लिए ज़रूरी है कि उसको जीविका कमाने के, रोज़गार कमाने के एक अच्छे साधन के तौर पर विकसित किया जाए।
Lavender is a low-maintenance, cost-effective and high-yielding crop that has greatly contributed to women's income in the region, since the farmers engaged in lavender cultivation are primarily women. Many young entrepreneurs have also started small-scale businesses by processing lavender flowers to make lavender oil and lavender water, which is obtained as a byproduct. It is further used to make incense sticks, soap, room fresheners and other fragrance items.
हम लोग मेघालय से हैं। वो लावेंडर कुछ हम लोग का फार्मर्स लावेंडर कल्टीवेटिंग करने के लिए चांसेस मिला, तो उनको सैपलिंग मिला और वो लोग कल्टीवेशन शुरू भी किया। तो वहाँ ये फ्यू फार्मर्स है, हम लोग का ऑफिस से हम लेके आया। तो इन लोग का अभी 3-4 मंथ्स ऐसा कल्टीवेशन हो गया। तो वो यूनिवर्सिटी से भी हम लोग को थोड़ा मालूम है, तो उन लोग को भी हम लोग को इनवाइट किया पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए ये लावेंडर फेस्टिवल। ये बहुत अच्छा है, ये लावेंडर फेस्टिवल, और प्रोग्राम बहुत अच्छा है एंड प्लेस बहुत ही अच्छा है। बहुत अच्छा सीनरी और अच्छा पीपल भी बात करता है, तो बहुत अच्छा।
Innovation plays a crucial role in agriculture as it drives advancements and improvements in various aspects of farming practices and crop production. Under a committed Modi government, India is emerging as a leader in agri-tech startups.
And now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in our segment called Asia Watch.
Kneeling down amid piles of old books and manuscripts, Zayed Mohammad Faris, a sheikh in northern Iraq's sub-district of Bardarash, carefully looks through the pages of a book almost 100 years old. According to Faris, his father founded the library 3 decades before the first school opened in their village of Dilijan al-Kabir, keeping its doors open since then and offering hundreds of titles on a wide range of topics and in different languages. Fariq Ibrahim, who has used the library since he was a child, remembers how its books helped him during his studies and beyond. According to Faris, the way his father cared for the books motivated him to commit to the preservation of the library. Thousands of public sector employees from the health and social care sectors protested staff shortages in Brussels. The protesters from across the country carried banners and props including coffins and skeletons, warning against the demise of patient care in the face of a shrinking workforce. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated pre-existing problems, protesters said, with a large number of people in the medical profession approaching retirement and not enough new hires to replace them. The protest was the second mass march organized this year, after a first in January. Police said 7,000 people attended the march to the city's main train station. A rare Buddha statue, estimated to be from 12th century China and part of a set thought to have been lost, will be presented for auction in Paris and is expected to fetch $1 million. According to auction house Bonhams, the piece is a very rare wood figure of the Gyan Bodhisattva. At a height of over a meter, it was last sold in the 1930s to a family who wishes to remain unknown in Boulogne, a suburb of Paris. Head of Chinese art Caroline Schulten said the family was unaware of its value until they called her up for an estimate. Bonham Auction House says there are likely only a handful of its kind left in the world, most of which are in museums.
Leading a life ridden with suffering seems to be becoming a norm in Pakistan-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan. Even though the region has an abundance of resources to generate power and ensure food security and water supply, successive governments have failed to provide the residents with even the bare minimum. The people are facing immense struggles due to the negligent attitude of the authorities and are continuously demanding authorities to resolve their problems. Take a look.
Decades of Islamabad's misrule in illegally occupied Gilgit-Baltistan has left almost every aspect of life in shambles. The indigenous people here are suffering due to shortage of water, skyrocketing prices of food grains, and constant load shedding. The locals were recently seen holding a protest against the Pakistan government, blaming it for making their life a living hell.
ये गंदम का मसला, बिजली का मसला और पानी का मसला, ये तीनों के हाथ में है। बजट से होता है। गंदम की सब्सिडी भी वफाकी हुकूमत के जरिए से होता है। बाकी जो पानी के मसाइल है, लोकल सतह पे गंदम की तकसीमात है, लोकल सतह पे बिजली की तरसील है, वो तो स्कर्दू इंतज़ामिया और जीबी हुकूमत की जिम्मेदारी है। इस सिलसिले में मैं समझता हूँ इन मसाइल को हल करने में जीबी गवर्नमेंट भी नाकाम है और स्कर्दू इंतज़ामिया भी नाकाम है।
the people in Gilgit-Baltistan are forced to protest and hold demonstrations as they have no option left to survive the hardships deliberately manufactured by a stooge government to the benefit of Pakistan. The lack of electricity, scarcity of food, and rising inflation is proving to be tragic for the locals. Their major demand is for an increase in subsidy for wheat, as despite raising the issue repeatedly, the authorities have paid no heed to their struggles.
चीज़ों की महंगाई हो गई तो हम ये कहते हैं कि गिलगित बल्तिस्तान को ये सब्सिडी जो दे रहे हैं वो किसी का कोई सदका नहीं है, यह हमारा हक है। सिर्फ गंदम का अभी दे रहे हैं, हमारे तो 40 से ज़्यादा चीज़ों पे सब्सिडी है। मुतनाज़ा इलाका है तो या हमें आईनी हुकूक दे दे, हम इन चीज़ों से दस्तदार होंगे, या हमें जो मुतनाज़ा इलाके हैं इनके बराबर हुकूक हमें दे दें। वहाँ पंजाब में, वहाँ वफाक में, वहाँ दूसरे सूबों में जनाब खरबों की सब्सिडी दे रहे हैं, तो इस महरूम इलाके को जनाब अली 8 अरब या 20 अरब या 50 अरब देने से क्या होता है? ये अरब तो जनाब अली यहाँ जो सुस बॉर्डर है उसमें तो 1 खरब से भी ज़्यादा आपको सालाना वहाँ पे आमदनी होती है, और यहाँ से पहाड़ से, दरिया से जो रॉयल्टी मिल रही है वो हमें वापस दे दें। हमें सब्सिडी नहीं चाहिए, हमें हमारा अपना हक दे दें।
Instead of working for the development of Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan is taking away the meager source of survival that the people of the region have. The people of Gilgit-Baltistan have raised their concerns on various international platforms before, including the United Nations. They demand freedom as they no more want to remain a colony of Pakistan.
And in a bid to promote art and craft in Nepal, one of the Nepali residents in Lalitpur city, Lakshmi Nakarmi, and her team are hard at work creating corn husk dolls from recycled maize in the Himalayan country. When Nakarmi was in her 20s, she came across an article in a magazine about American Christmas ornaments made out of corn husks. Lakshmi and her 3 sisters began creating corn husk artwork as a hobby after being drawn in by the concept. Take a look.
In a rented apartment in the alleyways of the ancient city of Patan, Nepalese resident Lakshmi Nakarmi and her staff are busy turning less regarded corn husk into art. This project, which started as a pilot project some 3 decades ago, has transformed into a lucrative business with demand surging. Nakarmi was in her 20s when she read an article in a magazine about using corn husks to make decorations for Christmas in the United States. Lured by the idea, Lakshmi, along with 3 of her sisters, started making corn husk art as a hobby.
मकैको खोस्टाको खुकुलो एकदम बाँधेको मात्रै थियो, खुकुलो उनीहरुको कल्चरको मैले देखाएको थिएँ। अनि अब हबीको रूपमा बनाउँदै अब हबीको रूपमा सुरु गरे थिएँ। नेपाली कल्चरमा पनि किन बनाउन नसकिएला, एक त सानो यतिकै बनाएको हो, यो यसरी पुरै यो गर्छु भनेर सोचेको थिएन, तर म्यागजिनमा देखेर अनि त्यो अनुसारको चाहिँ हामीले पनि नेपाली अनुसार बनाउनु मिल्छ सोच आएको थियो। तर बच्चा बेलादेखि नै वेस्टेजलाई युटिलाइज गर्ने मनमा एउटा हुन्थ्यो, त्यो हिसाबमा चाहिँ मैले गर्दै गएको हो।
Mainly used in North America, the corn husk has since become the inspiration for the 4 sisters living in the ancient city of Patan in Lalitpur, who started transforming less regarded agricultural products into art. Lakshmi recalled her bygone days when she started advertising her products in the market. People had less regarded for the art after they learned about the materials used to make it.
पहिला भन्नाले मकै खोस्ता एक्जिबिसनमा राख्दाखेरि के को कागजको भनेर ठान्नुहुन्छ उहाँले, तर मकैको खोस्टाको भने मकैको खोस्ता यो त जब मकै खोस्ता हाम्रो गाउँघरमा यत्तिकै फाल्या हुन्छ लिन आउनु छ हाम्रोमा भन्नुहुन्छ, नभए होइन राख्नु नफाल्नु म चाहिँ लिन आउँछु पैसा तिरेर नै बरु लिन्छु भनेर गाउँघरमा लिन पनि गएको छु। त्यो पहिला मकै खोस्ता भन्नुहुन्थ्यो भने अहिले चाहिँ मान्छेको रियाक्सन नै फरक छ।
Initially, she made dolls only in a small portion, which mainly used to be supplied to handicraft stores around Kathmandu, but with the time, Lakshmi included the diversity in her art. The diverse ethnicities across Nepal is now found in her art pieces, whether it is Nevari, Khas Pahadi, Raute, Kirat, Sherpa, Jhakri. The dolls have intricate designs in their facial appearance, color and attire. The team involved in making of these art pieces, which ranges from dolls, key rings, souvenir pieces, boxes, animals, all made using corn husk and biodegradable itinerates, work throughout the day to complete the orders. Depending on the quantity and the size of dolls, the group of about 5 women, majority of them who can't listen or speak, work throughout the day without resting their hand. Females with different abilities work here at the workshop of Lakshmi are being provided with incentive to work by employing them and teaching a craft that requires less labor. Along with encouraging the use of corn husk in Nepali craft work and employing women, these dolls are also important for the preservation of Nepali culture. The young generation is unaware of these traditional crafts and its importance to Nepal.
Well, it's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We'll be back next week at the same time. This is Lipakshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.